Hey everybody, it's John O'Brien. I'm live from Miami, Florida. Had to make sure I knew where I was. I'm in Miami. Just got in from Washington D.C. Those who are coming on live, I see you're coming on now. Put your questions down below. And my sister here, Mara Hoskins, we call her Monty. She will help me navigate through this so that we make sure we get to everybody. So if you have questions, you have comments, you've got thoughts about what you want me to answer or talk about today, please place them down below. Now, I'm here for the Black Enterprise Entrepreneurship Summit, where I'm speaking at 1 o'clock or 1:30, depending on when I am next up, when I'm actually up speaking, and I'm going to hopefully broadcast the actual speech, the conversation between me and Derek Dingle on Black entrepreneurship. There's a video I did on Sunday on Black entrepreneurship that's gotten like 140,000 views. Don't worry about that, Monty. That's just a street. 140,000 views. By the way, this is my sister. Come here. Isn't she beautiful?
Good morning.
My beautiful sister, who's like timeless. She's gorgeous. There's the video from Sunday has 140,000 views, but more importantly to me, it has like, I think it was like 1,500 shares. So that to me, that stickiness is showing that you guys really get it and you value it enough to share it with others. We have more than 2.8 million views right now on the channel. This is the Straight Talk Civil Rights Series with John Hope Bryant. I'm the CEO and founder of Operation Hope. I'm also an entrepreneur and a businessman, and I'm also the CEO and founder of Bryant Group Ventures, and I'm the author, for those of you who don't know it, of 2 best-selling books, Love Leadership, The New Way to Lead in a Fear-Based World, On Leadership in Life. It's my personal story if you're interested in that. I sort of unpack my pain, unpack my challenges, talk about my insecurities, talk about my failures as a gateway to my successes. And then another best-selling book is How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, Rebuilding the Path to the Middle Class, a solution for the 100%. That's my last book. And there's a book I wrote also called Banking on Our Future, which is youth financial literacy, that I wrote back, I forget what year it was, but that book was written at the same publishing house as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s publisher, Beacon House in Boston. So that's who I am, and Operation Hope has 2 million clients plus and has invested $2 billion to its partners in underserved neighborhoods, our communities, and so hopefully that gives me enough sort of gravitas to be able to help you to get from where you are to where you're going. So my sister's going to help navigate the questions. What do we have so far, Monty?
Do you have a location in Boston?
Do we have a location in Boston? No, actually. We were in Boston. By the way, you can ask me anything. It can be personal. It can be business. It could be aspirational. It could be about a relationship. It could be about the relationship you have with somebody else, relationship you have with yourself. It could be about the self-esteem issues. Yeah, you just do that, Monty. Just take your finger. Yeah. My sister is my producer today. Whatever's on your mind, let's just have a conversation, because we don't really talk enough about what's really important. We talk around issues. We don't talk about issues. We don't talk to the truth. We talk around the truth, and that pain can create depression. That depression can create sadness. That sadness can then mean a lack of hope, and we don't want that. Boston. We were in Boston. We were teaching 10% of the Boston school system, and then the big partner we had there, I think it was Fleet Bank or something, was acquired by Bank of America. This is like 10 years ago, and our office basically closed. I'm going to go back to Boston, but Boston is a very insular city, right? It's very local, so you got to really spend time in Boston, know the players there in order to to really have a robust office. So I just need to go back there and spend some time. Other places are easier to open because our partners are there. Okay.
How do you start a profitable business without a ton of money?
So how do you start so the word capital comes from the Latin root word capitas, which means knowledge in the head. So really, capital has nothing to do with money, and poverty has nothing to do with money either, right? So poverty and wealth has nothing to do with money. So I'll get into that if somebody wants me to unpack that. But you don't really need a lot of money. When I was growing up, I got a $40 loan from my mother to start my first business, the neighborhood candy house. But when I was later on in life, when I was starting businesses in my late teens, I used credit cards. So I had a Sears credit card. I had a Pep Boys back when I don't know, does Pep Boys still exist, Monty?
I think it's AutoZone.
AutoZone, but basically, I would, if I need car stuff, I'd go to Pep Boys or I think Pep Boys actually still is around. I didn't have formal capital, so I had like 10 credit cards, and I used a credit card for specialized need. If I had clothes, if I needed clothes, I'd go to, it used to be Montgomery Ward. You remember that, Monty?
I do.
Now Nordstrom's. I remember I had a Nordstrom's credit card, Nordstrom's Rack. Now, keep in mind these credit cards are very, very high interest rates, so you don't want to use them a lot, but
Buff 'em.
but
That's what it was.
yeah, and so I use credit cards and just sort of link together the capital I needed to string together the basic necessities for business. You cannot pay yourself a salary and all that kind of stuff starting out. A lot of people make mistakes. They start leasing fancy cars and paying salaries, and that's confusing business with busyness. So an entrepreneur works 18 hours a day to keep from getting a job. Remember that. And entrepreneurs have been doing, and minorities have been doing so much with so little for so long, you can almost do anything but nothing. So you just have to hustle, and you don't have compounded interest, so you have to use compounded hustle. Hope I answered that question.
How do you launch a network?
A network. Okay, what kind of network? Give me a bit more detail. Well, I know what they're saying, but I need them to help me. Do you mean a network like we're doing here, or are you talking about the network? You probably don't know what I'm going to do. I'm launching a network, but there's no way you would know about it. So you can't be talking about that. It's a broadcast network. You're talking about the network of Hope Inside locations. So give me some more detail on what you mean by a network, so I can answer that question. If you're talking about Hope Inside, we're actually going to become the Starbucks of financial inclusion. We are opening up a network of Hope Inside locations across the country. I guess I can answer that question, assuming that's what you're talking about. We do it in partnership. So I used to have standalone offices where I paid lease payments and I paid janitorial services and I paid for office supplies. It was killing me. And only had 24 locations in 24 years. Now we have orders for almost 300 locations in 24 months, and I don't pay any of that stuff. My partners pay that. So we have built enough credibility in our brand. So now it's Hope inside of a bank branch. SunTrust Banks, Regions Banks, Synovus Banks, PNC Bank, Fifth Third Bank, soon Huntington Bank, I think, First Tennessee Bank, First Horizon Bank, and then we have Hope Inside now going into Atlanta Police Department. By the way, all these locations I don't pay a lease payment. The sponsor, the partner, hosts me in their location. We're going to be in 2 Whole Foods. I wasn't supposed to say that yet. We're going to be. We're in 2 Hyatt hotels, serving the employees of the hotel who have financial, stress issues. We're going to be in the Detroit Medical Center, which I announced last night. All these places, they pay us to be there, basically, and they neutralize my cost. But that's because our brand has got credibility. Our name has credibility, and so they value it, and so they're willing to sponsor us. And so that allows me to build a network around the country and open offices. So we add value to a partner. Like you go to Target and you see Starbucks to the right. Okay, that's our model, right? Now you walk into a bank branch and you see Hope Inside. Or you walk into a City Hall in St. Louis, my friend Tishar Jones, and you see Hope Inside. And soon, grocery stores and things like that. We're gonna have 1,000 locations. Okay.
Do you have small business grants?
We don't do grants. We're a nonprofit. By the way, we should be fair. Make sure let's start naming names, Monty.
Oh, this is David Taylor. I'm sorry, David.
Yeah. So to give him some love, and let's make sure we're starting at the top and going down. Otherwise, we're not cheating the people who got here actually on time and added their comments early. You can just start popping off names just so they can get some love.
Esham just said your robe is fly.
By the way, I'm going to brag again. This is my beautiful, amazing, gorgeous, smart, talented sister. She's a small business owner herself. She also has 40 jobs. And if you can believe it, she's a grandmother.
Yes.
If you can believe it, she is I bet you guys cannot guess how old she is. She's not ashamed.
I'm his baby sister.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's a lie. But she is gorgeous, right, and smart, and has a beautiful attitude about life. And mom screwed me up a little bit, but she got her right. Anyway, that's my sister Mara Hoskin. We call her Monty, and she's helping me produce this. She's at the Black Enterprise Summit with me today, and she's helping me produce this. Okay, so did I script that last question?
I know you answered it.
Let's go back to the top, though.
Okay, that was the top.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, Esham's.
So
What?
let's mention every name that's signed in. Let's give them some love. And
Clyde Scott said good morning.
Okay.
James Joseph said good morning, sir. Esham Smith said the robe is fly.
Thank you. It's from Morocco, by the way.
Z Dan said, I'm glad you're live. I thank you for being my motivation through my trying times. Oh, that was nice.
Honored.
Bundell Lewis said good morning, Waves from D.C.
Hey, just left D.C.
Mike checks, do you have a location in Boston? You answered that because he wanted to volunteer.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Esham Smith said hi.
Hey, Esham.
Tony Lensom said good morning.
Good morning.
Jermaine said, what is the best way to start buying Detroit land real estate? Can you recommend anyone to work with? We missed that one. I'm sorry, Jermaine.
So, Jermaine, you want to get a hold of Ryan Mack, ryan.mack@operationhope.org. He's going to be upset with all these folks that are going to call, emailing him. But that's his job, right? His job is to serve our community. By the way, we want to be a private banker for the working poor, the struggling class, the teetering class, those with too much month at the end of their money, the stressed out middle class. So, our job is to really concierge the financial experience for you, make it painless for you, so that you can go out and empower, inspire your life. By the way, you know the number one cause for divorce is money. Number one cause for domestic abuse is money. I'm doing a whole women empowerment series. By the way, number one reason why women stay with abusive men is money. So we're going to sort of remove all that stress and return stability in your life by giving you a hope inside within 5 miles of where you live across this country by 2020, so that you can get your life together and then start focusing on living your dream versus first focusing on surviving. Start focusing on thriving. So the question from Jermaine was, I just blew it. The question
What's the best way to start buying Detroit land?
Detroit land. So Detroit, go to Detroit Land Bank Authority. Wonderful lady runs the authority. Tell them that John Bryant sent you. Go to Ryan Mack, or just go online. Detroit Land Bank Authority. Just go online. By the way, they have a great data. They have a great website. You'll be blown away. Sit there with your family. Your mouth will just drop. Hundreds of properties listed. I mean, beautiful properties. $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. You can buy them and then rehab them and rent them. Buy them, rehab them, sell them. Buy them, rehab them, and keep them. Live in them yourself. That is your hedge fund against poverty. They aren't growing any more land. Detroit's right across the street from Canada. It's not, all it's going to do is keep going back up again, right? And yeah, you got to buy right, you got to rehab right, and all that stuff. But you do it right, make sure you finance it right. Financing is a big deal. If you see two Mercedes driving down the street, and one of them is a Mercedes and one is Mercedes payments, because the Mercedes that you buy it right has a 2% interest rate on it. This one over here, where the guy is trying to profile, has an 18% interest rate on it, and you're paying for this car 4 times over, and this car is costing next to nothing. But that's what we do. We want to profile a lot, and we end up buying these assets, which really aren't assets or liabilities. By the way, cars are not an asset. They do not appreciate. They depreciate. That's a whole other conversation, I guess. So go to the website for the Detroit Land Bank. It's a great website, and you'll find a lot of resources there. And then when you're ready, get a hold of Ryan Mack, and we'll get a counselor with you.
Antonio leads by example. Say good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Love Brandon said good morning as well.
Good morning.
Damian Wallace. Hey, bro. Good morning.
Hey, is that Najee Ali?
That
good
is
morning,
Najee.
my man.
Oh, good morning, Najee.
And he says hello to my sis. Najee Ali is the man. That man created some legislation in Los Angeles based on a young lady who I think was missing. And anyway, he created a legislation which has changed the lives and saved the lives of millions of young children in California. I want to give him much love. He is a true community leader in the greatest sense of that word. Okay.
Alton Felix said good morning.
Hey, Alton.
Mike Check says nice robe.
Thank you very much. It's not a robe, but I'll take it.
Mark Lev.
Jacket from Morocco. It's not a robe.
Mark Lev said, "Hey John, good morning from
Hey, Mark.
Chicago.
Mark
Your sister's beautiful."
She is beautiful. Yeah.
Danielle
She's
Cabrera.
fine. My sister's fine. Look, come here. Hold on. My sister's fine. You can't see. I can say she's my sister. You can't see the legs. I'm telling you, the girl is fine. She's an aerobics instructor's instructor. And I'm just gonna say it. She's 50, like 50.
I'll be 60 next year.
It's unbelievable. She's like 59 years old. Like she looks like she's 30, right? Or 20. And she's an aerobics instructor's instructor. That's just one of her 28 jobs.
James Joseph said, how do you start a profitable business without a ton of money? You answered that.
Yep.
Iris Watson said good morning.
Good morning, Iris.
Prince Reem, let's go.
That's it.
Pierre, good morning.
That's my phrase. Let's go. Good
David
morning.
Taylor, do you have small business grants? You answered that one.
No, I didn't answer that actually. We don't do grants at Operation Hope. We will facilitate. Well, we are making a grant. We're giving you a grant of time and resources. I'm paying my employees to spend time with you. They're giving you a concierge experience, letting you know about the Earned Income Tax Credit, which is a grant, by the way, from the federal government that we're making available to you. We're, giving you small business entrepreneurship training, credit counseling training, home ownership training. We're certified by all the authorities, HUD, and et cetera, et cetera. So we go get all these certifications. We're funding $20 million a year. I'm raising $20 million a year to fund the operation so that you can get these services for free through our partners, many of which are banks and corporations, and in some cases the federal government. So that's our grant to you, if you will. That's our investment to you. And I think that investment, so put another way, if I give a homeless guy $1 million and do nothing else, he'll be broke in 6 months. And do you know that most lottery winners are broke 5 years after they get the money? Because nothing changes here, nothing changes here, which means something's going to change here. So no, we don't do grants in that way, but I think this is actually teaching a man to fish or a woman to fish is much more important than just giving the person the fish.
John Hicks want to know, do you have a location in Atlanta?
We have locations in Atlanta. Go to Hope Inside Ebenezer. It hurts my heart that people ask about Atlanta. It means we're doing a horrible job of marketing ourselves. That's going to be our headquarters, by the way. We're announcing that next week. There's a big announcement about expansion in Atlanta next week, so stand by for that. If you didn't hear about what I announced last night, go back and watch the Detroit Uplift 2020 video I did last night. If you don't like the video, you'll like the jacket. I wore it last night, but I mean, seriously, we're opening 100 offices in Detroit by 2020. We're going to be doing something very special in Atlanta, but right now we have Hope Inside at Ebenezer, at Dr. King's Church. We're the anchor tenant in the Daddy King Center next to Ebenezer Church, where we are. Daddy King, Dr. King's dad, served on the board of a bank for 40 years, and nobody knows it. I'm going to do a video on his story. I got so many videos I want to do. I hope you guys are not getting bored with this. I've got more content than I got, this is like just all this stuff in my head, in my spirit, in my soul, in my life that I'm just sharing with you, and I hope it's okay. So we have this center there that's a flagship location. It's available to you. It's open right now. Go to Luis Negron, LOUIS.NEGRON at operationhope.org, or Tara Dennis, TARA.Dennis, DENNIS, at operationhope.org, and she can hook you up. They can hook you up at Hope Inside at Ebenezer, or we have a Hope Inside at SunTrust. We have a Hope Inside at BB&T Bank. We're doing a Hope Inside at the Atlanta Police Department, which opens May 19th. So we're going to be really expanding deeply in Atlanta.
Rodney Feemster gave you some love and said, great job, sir.
Thank you, Rodney.
Benny Williams said, do you have an office in Arkansas?
Arkansas, not yet, but I spoke at the Clinton Library for President Clinton there, and did a book signing for my book, How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, and I was challenged by the Delta Regional Authority, part of the federal government, to open offices there, so we are going to do that. We have a grant for $300,000 to open several Hope Inside locations in the Black Belt and the Delta region. So we're going to do Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, working with Chelsea Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, and others there. And we're going to do Tennessee and Mississippi. So I'm coming to that area this year.
Very cool. Prince Ream said, I see you help people building entrepreneurship. How do you feel about multi-level marketing?
Multi-level marketing can be cool. You got to be careful because there's some scamsters out there, and it's not good for me right now. It hasn't been ideal for me for 20 years because I'm in what I call legitimate business. Multi-level marketing is a legitimate business. Like probably the best version of that is Avon, Mary Kay. Those are very respected sort of legitimate brands. There are a lot of fly-by-nights in that space. There's some folks who are trying to separate you from your wallet. There's some folks who are really making money not on the product they're selling, they're making product money from the multi-tiers. So you have to you got to really do your homework to make sure you're with the right entity or organization. It's typically a stepping stone or a part-time business. If you really want to do well with it, it's going to take all your time to do extremely well, because you're going to have a group of people underneath you and keep motivating them. My sense is you're going to do that, you might as well start your own business. So it's good as a stepping stone. Most people I know don't stay with it for a long time. I did it when I was growing up. I sold jewelry, Omni Jewelry, I did a couple other things with actually, so Stuart McGuire shoes and what was it?
Florsheim shoes.
Florsheim shoes, and it was
Katie Diaz candy.
what was those Stacey Adams.
Yes.
I sold Stacey Adams on mail order when I was growing up. One thing great about mail order and multi-level marketing is you don't have to have a big inventory to start. You can just use your good charisma and your network to get orders, and then they pay you in advance, and you get the then you buy the product, so you're not out of pocket.
My apology, James Joseph said the video keeps cutting out, no sound.
Well, I'm not quite sure why that's the case because we're live and it's not cutting out on this side. It might be a connection on your side. I know when it's cutting out and it's not doing that, so I apologize. But it's clear as a bell on this side.
Ishmael said, do you have plans for Dallas, Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area?
Absolutely. Texas I'm really disappointed in our whole Texas operation because it's basically non-existent. And our mother's in Texas, in Houston, who has an 800 credit score plus. She's crazy. It's crazy. We asked my mom, hey, Mom, you going to get married again? She said, yeah, baby. If I get married, man, he's going to be a BMW. A black man working. Our mom's funny, Juanita Smith. So she's there in Houston. We have a Congresswoman, Sheila Jackson Lee, in Houston. I promised that we were going to bring our services there. I have partners in Dallas, business partners. So yes, we're coming to Texas. Probably going to take us about 18 months to get there.
And Vondell Lewis want to know, how do I strive when motivation is lacking around me and my community?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So this gets to the heart of what poverty is. So, Vondell, understand that poverty is, and wealth is the opposite. Half of poverty is low self-esteem and lack of confidence in yourself. And I don't know if you're African American or not, but if you are African American and you're feeling this heavy burden, then there's a reason for it. 250 years of slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow ending in our lifetime means that probably 70% of our people are clinically undiagnosed depressed. Which is why we behave differently and respond differently to pain and racism and all this inequality than even our Caribbean brothers and people from Africa who come here and just get moving, because we got all this baggage that we're trying to process. We haven't processed. That creates depression and a lack of hope. And so in the most dangerous person in the world is a person with no hope. A lot of people walking around our neighborhoods have no hope, and that creates a problem for all of us. So you got half of success, to flip it, is self-esteem and confidence. Half of poverty is self-esteem and confidence, or the lack of self-esteem and the lack of confidence in yourself. So if I don't like me, I'm not going to like you. If I don't feel good about me, I'm not going to feel good about you. If I don't love me, don't expect me to love you. If I don't have respect for me, I'm not going to respect you. And here's a big one. You need to really remember this when you meet somebody. If I don't have a purpose in my life, I'm going to make your life a living hell. Whatever goes around comes around. So that then leads to the second part of poverty, role models and environment. Role models. Why am I a businessman? My daddy was. Why do I love myself? My mother told me to. It's not more complicated than that. So watch how you live your life. One of my friend's favorite quotes, it may be the only Bible that anybody else reads, which then leads to the second part of poverty, the second part, environment, which means if you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. Okay? Watch who you hang around. Watch what you're infected with. Watch what people, the energy. If you're around negative energy all the time, don't be surprised if you're negative too. So why kids in our neighborhood want to be rap stars, athletes, and drug dealers? Because that's what they see. Rap stars, athletes, and drug dealers. We model what we see. I want you to change your environment. If you can't change your physical environment, then change what you're focusing on. Read a book, right? Don't just watch Housewives of Who's He Was all night. Get focused on your dream. Get buried in your optimism. Take your life back. Regain your energy, and then you'll regain your life, and you'll find all the lights come on. Let's push this up a little bit more.
Alton want to know, do you have a location in the Carolinas?
In the Carolinas. No, we're not there yet. I think you mean North Carolina, South Carolina. We're not there yet, but we are coming. It is on our priority list. So
Yes.
If we're not coming, I'll tell you. Like, there's places that we have no immediate intention to be there, and if I'll let you know. But up until now, every place you're mentioning, it's on our list for the next 24 months.
And Desmond Hutchins want to leave their 9 to 5, so they want to know, how do you rebrand your business and also get funding for your business?
We got to stop talking about funding. Everybody talks about money, money, money. I need money. I need funding. No, you don't. I have never started a business that said I need to go raise money. My capital is my idea. And my backup capital is my energy. And my number one asset is my persistence. I take no for vitamins. You know, so my sister will tell you, I never give up. I never give in. I never stop. I'm always moving, growing, and I just outrun failure. So when you start to think about, well, if I don't have capital, I can't succeed, you will never succeed. Just walk off the playing field, because poor neighborhoods and underserved neighborhoods and people who are minorities don't typically have a trust fund with a lot of money sitting around. So just stop focusing on how much money you've got and focus on the power of your idea and selling that idea to a customer. As my friend Jim Clifton, the CEO of Gallup, has said, an innovation without a customer standing next to it is not a business. I'll repeat, an innovation, no matter how beautiful and amazing and wonderful it is, you come up with the biggest whoozy ones. An innovation without a customer, somebody willing to buy that, standing next to it, is not a business. Sell something to somebody, get paid for that, that's your capital. And keep selling something to somebody and keep reinvesting the capital. Don't go buy a Cadillac, don't go lease a Mercedes payments, don't go buy a house you can't afford, trying to floss for somebody. Take the money and reinvest it back in your business, and keep reinvesting it back in your business, and keep reinvesting it back in your business. Take only enough out to survive. I don't know if you know this, but I was homeless for 6 months of my life, and it was really a choice, because I could have rented an apartment, but I needed that money to fund my business. I had $500 a month in cash flow, and I needed that money not to go to an apartment, but to go to my business, and so I just lived in my Jeep. There you go.
Okay. Bam Travis wants to know, do you have a location here in Detroit?
Oh yeah, we have locations coming up in Detroit. Go see Crystal, my financial counselor at the Northwest Community Activity Center, I think it's called. Our partner there is Fifth Third Bank. It's a Hope Inside location. Go to operationhope.org to look for the location. Email Ryan Mack at ryan.mack@operationhope.org. He will hook you up. We have locations opening with the Skillman Foundation, locations opening with Level 1 Bank at a major university there. We have locations opening. Yeah, so we're Detroit Medical Center. We're going to be knee deep in Detroit. Go watch the video before this from last night, from yesterday. I detail what we're doing in Detroit.
And Henry Jackson is actually piggybacking off of Desmond. He wants to know, how do you launch an idea with no money?
I think I already sort of answered that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you use hustle. I'll do a whole video just on that, but. So I don't mind answering these business questions, and maybe they're all business questions because I'm at the Entrepreneurship Summit. But you guys should also not be afraid to ask me spiritual questions or questions about, insecurities or vulnerabilities or all that stuff, because really that is the thing that will keep you from succeeding more than anything else. It's not the skill level, it's not the education level. It is how you feel about yourself. My number one asset is I'm reasonably comfortable in my own skin. Without question, my number one asset. And my number two asset is I'm persistent. But you can't be persistent unless you're confident, and the confidence comes from an inner strength. I mean, if you don't know who you are by 9 in the morning, by dinner time, somebody's going to tell you who you are. And you get bounced around all day because you don't know who you are. So knowing who you are is critically important. Don't be afraid to answer those questions. But we can do that in another Q&A, I guess. I'll ask the questions that are popping up. What was the question again?
It was, I'm sorry, how do you launch an idea with no money?
Okay, I've sort of answered that.
Yeah. All right, and Damon is asking, had the chance to speak with Derek Graham with Operation Hope. Gave me some.
Let's go back.
I'm sorry.
Is that Dominique that said network?
How you ran your business. We answered that one.
No, there's a Dominique. After Henry Jackson, Dominique.
Network.
Dominique Sims, network. So don't focus on networking. Focus on building relationships. Maybe and remind me, Monty, I'm going to do a piece just on that. That's really important. Networking is dead, right? You only see broke people at networking receptions. Okay? You will never see President Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, or anybody who's successful at a networking reception. They build relationships. There's a huge difference. Networking is about what I get, and building relationships is about what you give. Building relationships is two-way. Networking is one-way. I did get out of the networking business. I know. I think Dominic was just talking about that in the sense of this is maybe building a network, which is cool. But don't waste your time going to networking receptions. Just don't waste your time. The only person making any money is the networking event promoter. Okay.
All right. And Damon said, had the chance to speak with Derek Graham with Operation Hope. He gave me some solid advice on how to get my business off the ground. Great guy. Certainly plan on learning on him for more advice.
Okay, great. I'm glad that you could be helpful.
Esham said, how do I get one of those shirts?
You want the shirt or the jacket? It's reconnecting. Okay. The shirt comes from Norway, from the Nobel Peace Center. I don't know if you're talking about the shirt or the jacket, but the shirt is all the Nobel Peace Prize winners are listed, including my man, Dr. King. And you can get that shirt off the Nobel Peace Center website. And the jacket, well, I'm sorry, it's a one-off from Morocco, so good luck. I thought about selling them, actually. But as if I don't have enough things to do with another business I want to start. I actually want to start on the import stuff from Morocco.
And James Smith says, thank you, sir. Good day to you. God bless.
God bless you. It's okay.
Dominic, I'm telling this guy how to launch his business.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Oh, that's what she was saying about networking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's Dominic, who was responding from earlier. Are you guys enjoying this, by the way? Is this helpful to you, fruitful to you? Make sure you put your comments down. I don't need to do it if you're not benefiting from it. And I'm not, see, we're at 10:30, so we got about another 10 minutes. So I'm gonna get out of here before you kick me out, because you never want to be the old guy in the club. All right? You never want to be the old guy in the club. So before you kick me out, I'm gonna leave. I gotta go speak at Brock Enterprises. So anyway.
And Tony Lindsay says, I started my own security company. How do I go by getting a loan for startup costs? And you kind of touched on that earlier.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a whole piece on capital, but think about if you actually think you actually need to raise capital, and I think that most people don't. I think that we got too much obsession about raising capital. None of my businesses I focused on raising capital. I think that's just wrong. But clearly you need some money, right? So you can do a crowdfunding campaign, which is can be very effective. So think about crowdfunding. Think about getting your earned income tax credit. Frankly, if somebody in your family makes less than $50,000 a year and works, federal government owes them a check, and it may be you. If you are make $28,000 a year and you have 2 children, as an example, the government owes you $3,500. If you never filed, it's retroactive for 3 years. That's 10 grand, and 10 grand is enough money to start your business. You can use it for any purpose you want, and it's not a credit; it's cash.
And Richmond Gray said, I live here in Naples, Florida. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I hear about Operation Hope on the radio when I'm going to work all the time.
Oh, good.
What exactly do I need to see about acquiring help?
Just call us. Just call us. Call us or email one of my. Go to the website, operationhope.org. Find an office near you. I have several offices in Florida. One in Orlando, Hope Inside Orlando with SunTrust Banks. Hope Inside Tampa with SunTrust Banks. Hope in Miami, here in Miami with the City of Miami, literally the City of Miami, in some of their community centers. Hope Inside in Jacksonville, I believe that's with Regions Bank. So just go to one of the locations or call us and we'll help. Our services are free.
And Damian Wallace want to know, any plans on ever coming to Iowa with or for anything?
Yes, I'm actually coming to Iowa to give a speech soon, but I can't remember what it's when it is. But yes, I saw Iowa come up on my schedule. So, and we're Iowa's the heart of America. That's like where a lot of the American stories started, and a lot of entrepreneurs came from. It's a great place.
And Vondell is back. I think we already answered his, but he said, how do I strive for success when motivation is not in your corner and it lacks in my community, friends, family? But we touched on that already.
Yeah, and read the book Love Leadership. That will help a lot, right? I mean, I go in a lot of detail about that.
And Roy McDane want to know, may God bless.
By the way, we got to stop this thing, of not reading anything. It's like more than 28 seconds. People think reading today is like reading we're like reading a TMZ article. No, I mean reading books, right? Chris Rock said, you want to hide something from a robber, hide it in the book. Right? We got to start reading books again. I read countless books. I have a library in my house. One of my proudest things is a library. My Monty knows this, my sister. I have this huge inventory of books. That is free capital. You want to know what I'm talking about capital? Don't go buying a new dress. Don't go buying a new stereo. Don't go buying something useless, right? Don't go buying cigarettes that will kill you. Literally, you're paying for something that's going to kill you. Go buy a book. It will set you free. We don't need 40 acres and a mule. We need 40 books in a bank account.
And Roy McDane is giving you love. Thank you, Roy. He says, may God bless you for your continuous effort sharing your knowledge to others.
Oh, thank you. I hope this is valuable. You guys let me know.
And Henry Jackson said, I had an idea to send it to Inventec. They said it was a buildable product, but didn't have the money to get a patent.
Eventech. So I don't know much about them, although I do know it's brilliant for the person who created it because they're getting paid. Event Help, I think it's Event Help or Eventech, but I know that they've got a celebrity spokesperson, and I see the commercials all the time. They want a fee, basically, right? So you don't need them. You can go right to the Patent and Trade Office in Washington, D.C., and create your own patent. You don't need to go through Event Help, whatever it's called. You go right to the Patent and Trade Office. In fact, soon Operation Hope is going to have a partnership with the Patent Office this year, and you can be able to come to us. But go to Janae Roscoe. If you're lost, Janae Roscoe in my Washington, D.C. office, and see if she can link you to the Patent and Trade Office, give you a referral. But by the way, the #1 economies in the world, all the top economies, are the economies with the most patents. And all a patent is a monetized idea. That's all it is. So in places that are in war, that have crime, that have drama, like our inner city neighborhoods are in a constant state of drama, they don't have a lot of creativity, they don't have a lot of patents. That's why they're broke. But it's countries, Sudan, countries, communities. That's why I want to get our communities stabilized, get us focused on something positive so we can be creative, so we can create patents, so we can create wealth.
And a conscious mind is giving you love. He just said nice.
Cool.
Scotty said, how do I launch a music streaming service? I have a concept, basic idea, and app name.
That's a broad question. I think you need to go to our entrepreneurship and small business classes at Operation Hope, operationhope.org. Go to the class near you and just sort of break the business down. Every business is basically the same. You know, the fundamentals of it are the same, and you got to make sure you're doing business and not busyness. And if you're a small business owner, it's going to rely on you personally, initially, not the business idea, because the business doesn't have any assets, which means your credit can't be toe up from the flow up, which is why I keep trying to encourage you guys to get your credit, as my daddy used to call it credit, not credit. Get your credit fixed. I got to get my credit fixed. And because he called it credit, you know his credit was bad. My dad's credit was bad. I mean, bad. Not bad. I mean, toe up. I mean, mine is dying. She know his credit was bad. I gave brother man an American Express card for emergencies, and like 45 days later, it was like $6,000 balance, and he didn't know what he charged it for. Right? He's like, I didn't. John. He called me John. I didn't charge that. I don't know what that is.
Leave my daddy alone.
Yeah, $6,000. That was got your signature on it, homeboy.
All right.
So it's going to rely on your personal profile. So make sure your personal profile is not toe up, right?
Okay. And Rich B said, how do I go about starting a chain of nonprofit community centers that are educational based?
Don't do it. Unless you are Bill Gates or unless you made a lot of money, do not start a chain of anything that has the word nonprofit in it, because then you will be nonprofit. You will be broke. I have to raise $20 million a year to keep this going. I've got to raise $150,000 a day. So you guys are actually costing me money right now, because I'm not raising money. I'm talking to you. And by the way, if you feel it more value than this, I get paid. My rack rate is $25,000 for a 45-minute speech, and I've been doing these every day for free. And so that's my investment in you. And now maybe you'll say, well, why is anybody paying the guy $25,000? Pretty useless. But I want you to just sort of reimagine everything, really, about how you approach life and how you approach problem solving, how you approach even yourself. And I want you to sort of raise the bar of your own aspirational dreams, because it takes just as much energy to succeed small as it does to succeed big. So you might as well, if you're going to fail big. Don't do a micro failure. You're going to fail spectacularly, with spectacular grace, because it takes the same amount of energy. And really, the greatest sin is not failure; it's low aim. Just low aim.
And Dominic is back again. He said, "I'm about to purchase my first home in 2 months. Is it a good idea to start a small business?"
Yes, I think it's always a good idea. Look, small business is the gateway to wealth creation and job creation and freedom. There's not enough jobs to go around. There's 7 billion people in the world, about 1.2 billion jobs. IBM and all these big companies are not hiring anybody. The governments are not hiring people. That's not the business that they're in. They're in the business of efficiencies, which means they're trying to lay off people. They're trying to use more technology. So all job growth comes from small businesses, startups, shoot-ups, entrepreneurs in years 3 through year 7 of their growth. So every big business was once a small one. Yes, it is always a great idea to start a business. And if you can't get a job, it's always a great idea to create a job. That's why we're talking about here at Entrepreneurship Conference in a couple hours. We may try to stream that live. So I can't talk enough about that, yes. But go back to the guy talking about the nonprofit. Do not underline, do not think about nonprofits as a profit-making thing or as a way to, oh, I can get grants. No, all that's a lie, right? This is nonprofit is not a hustle. I'm not suggesting you think it's a hustle. It is. If you're not, the only reason you want to do this is you want to change the world. You want to help people because it's going to be a pain in the gazanga beans. It's going to drive you crazy. I used to have an afro before I started pulling my hair out with running a nonprofit. I'm honored to do it. It is my greatest honor to do it, but it ain't nothing nice. It ain't easy. My payroll is $250,000 every 2 weeks. Actually, now it's $300,000 every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks you start over. Nobody cares, that you paid payroll last week. That's my nonprofit, and I've got to raise that money. So you really go out and get some wealth, and then you can give it away. You don't want to be a broke prophet. A broke prophet.
Oh, Wise Ruler was giving me love. Peace back at you.
Hey.
Daryl Henderson said, wow.
Okay, I guess that's good.
Okay, and Damian Wallace, I love that robe too.
It's not a robe, man. It's not a robe. It's not a robe. It's a coat.
You can call it a robe. Yeah. All right, Alton Felix. Oh, beautiful sister, sweet.
Yeah, she is gorgeous.
How do I manage family and becoming a businessman and also having a survival job in the process? By Mr. Cunningham.
What was the question again?
How do I manage family? Well, how do I manage family and becoming a businessman and also having a survival job in the process?
Yeah, don't sleep. I mean, there's no easy answer, right? Love is work, non-love is laziness, anti-love is evil. Evil exists, but it's very rare. Most people are just lazy. Financially lazy, emotionally lazy, spiritually lazy, physically lazy, intellectually lazy. They just don't want to do the work. When somebody walks up to my mentor, Ambassador Andrew Young, in the airport, and they say, oh, I have this idea, Ambassador Young. He was the aide to Dr. King in the Civil Rights Movement, the strategist. Oh, I got this idea. What they're really saying is, will you do it for me? And he hates that question because they think he can, snap his fingers and make it work. Like, no, nothing is easy. Everything is hard work. You want to raise your children well? It's hard work. You want to have a great marriage? It's hard work. You want to be successful at your job? It's hard work. You want to develop a strong business? It's hard work. And work takes time. So you're not going to get much sleep. That's why I keep saying an entrepreneur works 18 hours a day to keep from getting a job. But whatever you love is going to take work. But because I love what I do, I've never worked a day in my life, if that makes sense. So I put in all this time, but I'm not tired because I'm doing what I love. I may get exhausted sometimes. I just take a nap, a long one. Some people call it sleep. And I'll sleep for 5 hours, 6 hours, and then I can't wait to get back at it again. So as long as you're doing what you love at home and work and in life, you won't feel like this is a burden. Conversely, if you're not doing what you love, you can just be working a job for 8 hours and you at 1 hour in, you're like, is this over yet? Can I go home? Because you're not doing what you love. Okay, hope that helped.
Vince is saying good morning. Caldwell is saying hi. Another one, are you wearing that robe well?
Hey, man, it's not a robe, man. It's not a robe. This is the jacket from Morocco.
Corey Hall
have a self-esteem problem.
Corey Hall is saying good morning from Atlanta.
Hey, Corey.
Joe Lawrence, keep giving jewels. And are you in Texas?
Not in Texas yet. You obviously didn't hear the first part of the show. No, not in Texas yet, but we're coming.
Meet Jones, keep being blessed, brother.
We're over 45 minutes. You guys want me to keep going for a few minutes? Put in the comments right now. End it and hit you later, or you want me to keep going for 5 or 10 minutes? Because, I told you, you never want to be the old guy in the club. Before you kick me out, I'm going to leave.
Will there be a New Hope in L.A.?
We're moving our headquarters from LA to Atlanta. LA is where we were born. There'll always be hope there. We have offices that we're opening with One West Bank. We have one in Northridge. We got one in Escondido. We have one in the east side of LA. We've got, we're opening offices all throughout LA. Lance Triggs runs that for me. Lance.Triggs, Triggs, at operationhope.org. My employees are going to hate me for giving out their email addresses, but oh well, I'm paying them.
And Lee want to know, does Hope Inside's address generational wealth questions related to probate or real estate? P.S. Your sister got all the looks. No, I don't.
Yes, she does. One more time, everybody. She's fine. She's not pretty. She's fine. I wish you could see these legs. She's fine. And she makes 20-year-olds need to go to think they need to go to the gym. What you just saw is 59 years young. All right, whatever my mother and dad did, they need to sell it, with the exception of me. Okay, next question.
Stan Jackson, good morning.
Hi, Stan.
Derek, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Derek.
Good morning from Kevin. Jermaine,
Kevin.
thanks.
Yep.
Marcel, peace and blessings,
Marcel,
brother. I really enjoy the information that you
good.
share. Oh, that was sweet.
Thank you.
Stan, good morning.
Good morning.
From St. Louis.
St. Louis. Go see Tashara Jones at our Hope Inside at St. Louis City Hall. The city treasurer's office.
John Craig, Mr. Bryant, you are a bad man and a visionary. Glad to be part of your vision. Hope you come to Atlanta soon.
I live in Atlanta. Am I that invisible in Atlanta? I live there. Tommy Dorsch in Atlanta came to my house and went to my closet to make sure I had clothes in the closet. I got to make sure you live here. You don't just have some investment property. It is our family home. We live in Atlanta.
All they got to do is hang out at the airport.
Okay, at the airport, you'll see me.
Zai said, you mentioned about the guy doing notary in Atlanta. Thank you for your idea. I'm working on my license already. You inspire me.
Oh, thank you. And the story is unpacked in detail in my book, How the Poor Can Save Capitalism. You can get the book on Kindle, on an iTunes device. You get it digital. There's an Audible version where not the company. Audible.com has my Love Leadership book where I spoke it. This book, I'm not sure the name of the company, but there is an audio version of it. It's spoke by an actor, not me, but How the Poor Can Save Capitalism. But you can get it in digital, audio, digital, and print, hard copy, soft copy, and paperback. And now it's been translated into 5 languages.
Oza Sari said, good morning, sir, from the Bay Area.
Hey, love the Bay Area. We have a Hope Inside there with Bank of the West.
Banya said, do you host seminars or workshops in Johannesburg?
Yes, we have Zviko is my man in Johannesburg, Operation Hope South Africa. Go to operationhope.org, go to South Africa and hit up Zviko, who runs my office there. And I was just there not only speaking and meeting with our partners, but I'm also have a race car driver's license, and I won my first race in South Africa, a 2-hour endurance race. That was very cool.
And Prince Ring, we answered this one already, but it says, for people who are interested in starting businesses, what do you think about multi-level marketing? Is that a good business start?
Go back after this is over. Go back and rewind. I answered that about 25 minutes ago. Mikey, let's go to the bottom and see if they answer the question about whether I should continue this or not, or they want me to stop. Hold on. Let's go right to the bottom.
I enjoy your information. Keep it coming, from Anthony Thomas.
Is anybody saying that I should go for 5 or 10 more minutes, or whether just scroll up, or whether I should stop? Like, okay.
No, there is many questions.
It's been real. It's been nice. It ain't been real nice.
No, nothing like that.
Okay. So we went from the top to the bottom. We're going to now go from the bottom to the top. We'll do this for another 5 minutes, and then we're going to wrap this up, and I'll answer the rest of them offline. I hope this has been helpful to you. This is just a
CJ
Q&A
saying
session.
yes, continue. Amber saying keep going. Reggie is saying keep going. Lawrence is saying yes, keep going. Drew, keep going. Ralph, keep going. All right, so you guys want him to keep going.
Okay.
All right, so I'll go from the bottom up.
Yeah.
I do enjoy your information. Keep it coming, from Anthony. Mark Love, I think about Larry David in the smoking jacket. Curb your enthusiasm.
Well, at least you call it a jacket, all right? It's not a robe.
He said it's a cool Moroccan jacket.
There you go. It's a jacket.
Brian Jackson is debt-free today. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen. By the way, there's nothing wrong with reasonable leverage, reasonable debt leverage. You don't want to. Most things in moderation are healthy, right? And by the way, this movement of mine is just a radical movement of common sense. I guess just common sense is not so common, but that's all this movement is. Nothing I'm saying that's surgery or chemistry. This is a radical movement of common sense. So here's a common sense statement for you. Most things in moderation are healthy for you. Drugs in moderation are prescribed. Alcohol in moderation, wine, will lower your blood pressure. Most things in moderation, sleep in moderation is extraordinarily healthy. You sleep too much and you'll actually be tired. So you want to, so debt in moderation, using the debt vehicle to leverage up your return to allow you to do things like a mortgage. A 30-year mortgage is a great example of a very well-designed debt vehicle that's much smarter than is paying for the house in cash. It's much smarter to get a mortgage, and actually the tax laws are structured in such that you actually get money back for owning a home because you can write off the interest payments. So if I'm getting a mortgage and I'm paying $1,000 a month for the first 15 years, $800 of that $1,000, certainly for the first 10 years, is going to go to interest payments, and you'll pay the principal, most of the principal in the back end of the mortgage. Well, that $800 of the $1,000 payment you write off on your taxes, called mortgage interest expense, and then you get that money back in a refund. Hello, against your income. There are many other benefits of owning a home, but if you were just renting an apartment for $1,000 a month, you get zero benefits. You are paying off somebody else's mortgage. When you rent, you get zero benefits. You are paying off somebody else's mortgage. And repeat, you're getting zero benefits. You're in an apartment building. Whoever owns the apartment building, you're paying off their mortgage. You're getting zero benefits. You get no benefit from that. People are flossing, spending $5,000 a month on an apartment. It is stupid. You are literally opening a window and throwing your money out the window, and you're impressing people you don't know. You're impressing people you don't know, people who don't care about something that doesn't last.
All right, we'll get a couple more questions because they're saying 10 more minutes, so we'll cut off at the top of the hour. That works?
Yeah, my sister's obviously in charge. She told me what I'm doing.
All right, so Karen Allen, there are many layers on financial education necessary. Do you cover all layers?
Yes, we go from 8 years old to 80 years old, and it is a full, Operation Hope, if you may not know it, we actually inspired President George Bush in 2008 to sign an executive order making financial literacy federal policy. We've inspired several pieces of federal policy, financial literacy being one of them, so yes, we are a pioneer in this space, and we're pretty good at it. We also are the only nonprofit allowed to operate inside of a bank branch, so that's the adult piece, just mentioned the youth piece. We also, through Hope Coalition America, are the Economic Red Cross for the country. So when you have a disaster, you have a car loan and no car anymore, like a flood comes through or a tornado or whatever. You have a home and a mortgage but no home anymore. We go and restructure all those debt obligations for you. So the FEMA comes in right away in 2 hours. Red Cross comes in 2 days. We come in 2 months and help you restructure your financial life. So we are the nation's economic Red Cross. So those are 3 areas where we change federal policy. And you may or may not know that we got the federal government to rename a building across from the White House into the Freedmen's Bank building, which is the only time in U.S. history that a citizen, this one, in U.S. history, a citizen got the federal government to rename a building on the White House campus. I don't normally point to myself or say I, but I'm pretty proud of that one. So yes, it really is a holistic agenda around financial literacy. Here's a really funny thing. I don't really like financial literacy. Yeah, that's right. But Dr. King didn't go get a PhD in civil rights. He didn't get a PhD in the right to vote. He had a PhD in theology and was pulled into the democracy debate and the right to vote debate because that was what was raging and defining the agenda. Well, economics define the agenda today, and financial literacy is the language of money. So I decided I had to become an expert in that. But it's not like I get up in the morning. I was like a C student in math growing up. I've never said this stuff in public, but it's true. Monty knows that. I was a C student. I was not. By the way, do you know that Dr. King got a C in public speaking from Crozier Seminary? Absolutely true. And his professor said, if you don't stop talking like that, you'll never amount to anything. Thank God he didn't listen to him, right? So Dr. King got a C- in public speaking, and I got a C in math, and we didn't do so bad. So persistence and passion really pays off.
And thanks for the love, Tiffany Anderson.
Hey, Tiffany.
She says another great book. She picked it up at the airport.
Okay, good.
Cordell Carter is saying, listening to you and having the debt collectors call me now.
Chris Rock says, I don't know nobody with a 1-800 number. You call in from my house with a 1-800 number, I'm not answering. The problem is they'll keep calling, and it'll just get worse. You might as well just answer the phone and yep, well, I was waiting for your call. What? What?
What?
And if you can't pay the whole thing, say, look, I can pay you 10 cents on the dollar. No, we want more money. I know you want more money, but I can only pay you 10 cents on the dollar. So where do I send it, and when do we cut a deal? Or you can keep arguing with yourself and call me back in 3 weeks, and you're going to get the same answer from me, but now your boss is going to know you didn't get any results for 3 weeks. Or you can take this win right now and tell them that you got this guy to give you 10 cents on the dollar, which is 10 cents more than you had yesterday. So just deal with it, because they're going to keep calling.
And Bridget Tripp said, thank you, John, for taking time out this morning. That was nice.
It's my pleasure.
Donald Hart said, Mississippi is building up for hope inside.
Yeah, I'm coming to Mississippi. We're coming strong.
And Sharinta Lewis said, what do you say to an entrepreneur who has a lot of ideas, failure equals success?
Success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. I love failure. I love it because it means you tried. And I'd rather, as my friend Chelsea Clinton would say, I'd rather you get caught trying to do good than doing nothing. I'd rather my employees ask for forgiveness and permission. I'd rather you try 1,000 times and fail 99 times and succeed once than didn't try anything because you thought you'd fail once. So yes, just keep trying, right? That's why self-esteem and confidence is so important. I keep encouraging my people to not have a negative attitude and be angry and all that kind of stuff, because then you just never try at all, or you get one failure, one disappointment, and you say, okay, I'm out of here. So yeah, don't be immune to failure. It's part of life. I don't focus on the 9 no's I got. I focus on the 1 yes I got.
And Brian Johnson, love y'all, man. Good morning.
All right, we got 2 minutes.
All right, I'll jump down to the last couple at the bottom. Okay, Bridget, again, John, do you serve folks who had to file bankruptcy?
Yes, we serve everybody. I almost filed bankruptcy myself when I was homeless 6 months of my life when I was 19, business was not good, and I was not a very good financial manager of my affairs. In fact, I was ego tripping, and God has a funny way of sending messages. Whatever goes around comes around, and my life was falling apart, and I almost filed bankruptcy. I mean, I decided not to. I decided that I owed the debts, that was my responsibility. I screwed up, and that I needed to fix it. So I just got on the phone and talked to the creditors and worked it out. And it took me about 8 years to clean up my record. My credit score was down in the 500s, and now my credit score is in the mid 700s. But I was at the bottom of the barrel, so I can relate to it very well. And so you can make a mistake and not be a mistake. That's our philosophy at Operation Hope. That a saint is a sinner that got up. There's nothing wrong with making a mistake. There's only something wrong with doing nothing about them. That's why I gave the quote earlier, the Benjamin Mays quote, which is Dr. King's mentor, said that sin is not failure. The greatest sin is low aim. So you're going to make mistakes. You're going to slip and fall. You're going to trip and fall. It's okay. Just get up. Just keep succeeding. Keep trying. And after a while, you just outrun failure. Do you know that I'm a little embarrassed. I'm blanking on his name because he's a friend. He's not a dear friend, but I know him, and he's a dear friend of Ambassador Young's. Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron had the record for the most strikeouts. I'm sorry, for the most home runs, but people don't know he had the record for the most strikeouts too. You cannot hit the bat unless you swing at the ball, right? And you swing, you're going to miss 2/3 of the time. But nobody cares. Success has 1,000 mothers, and failure is a bastard child. Nobody's going to claim your failures, but everybody's going to rally around your successes. I had 100 businesses from age 10 to age 20. My sister will tell you, most of them didn't work. In fact, I borrowed money from her and never paid back. Most of them didn't work, but nobody focuses on my failure. They focus on the successes that I ultimately had. And so, yes, we deal with you wherever you are, and we help you get from that place forward. And don't be ashamed, right? Don't be embarrassed because you've got problems. Be embarrassed if you're doing nothing about them and your children are watching you failing in place, because they're going to model you.
And Mr. Walnut Lane is
Somebody said Jesus.
Mr. Walnut Lane has put a couple of messages. How do I get rid of this anger?
Oh man, I love that, brother. I love that, and I love you for saying it. I love you for being so honest about it. Look, go back and watch a couple of the videos. I took some risks in the first 20 videos. I really tackled a lot of issues no one wants to talk about. I tackled racism. I tackled depression, black depression. By the way, I'm talking to everybody in this series, but I do know a good core of my audience are African Americans. And so I talk about stuff that nobody wants to admit. And I got attacked and called nasty words by a few people. That's fine. It's okay if you don't like me. I like me. So it's cool. I know that people, and you know, when you go to the profile of the dude calling you the bad name, by the way, it's always the same dude, not literally the same dude. It's the same sort of dude, right? And you know, and they're just not happy people, and hurt people hurt people. So I want you to live your life. I want you to embrace your pain. I want you to then embrace healing. And maybe I'll do a piece on how to heal. This probably means it's time to wrap this up. The connection's getting weak. There's 3 ways to live. You can heal, you can cope, or you can commit suicide. There's only 3 ways: suicide, coping, or healing. 95% of people are coping. Drugs, alcohol, shopping, staying busy, not dealing with their mess, just avoiding. And literally, an addiction is an emotion you can't handle. Literally, an addiction is an emotion you can't handle. And then the 3rd way to live is to heal. And that's what I want you focused on. Read the book, Love Leadership. I'm really proud that you said that. Send a note to Rachel Doff at my office, rachel.doff, RACHAEL.doff@operational.org. The young man who mentioned that he's angry, trying to get out of that anger. And I'm going to send you a book for free as a gift from me with a personal note from me. All right, love you guys much. I'm out. I'll answer the questions offline. This has been an hour of Q&A. I hope you have found it valuable. I love you much. I love you a lot. I love you. I'm going to come at you unbought and unbossed and direct and straight talk all the time. Civil rights, the new movement in the suites, not just in the streets. About not race and color line, but class and poverty. It's about taking your life back. It's about owning yourself once again. It's about returning you to your own greatness. And it's about not having no agenda but your uplift. All I want for you is for you to do good in life. And if you want to use me as a piñata to vent your anger, your pain, your frustration, you want to call me names, you knock yourself out because I've been called worse, and I know that you can be better. And you know, we killed Jesus, we killed Dr. King, so I'm nowhere near as good as Dr. King or Malcolm X or any of those leaders, and we took them out because there was too much truth. So look, it's not a popularity contest. I'd rather you respect me and learn to like me than like me and never respect me. But you'll know this: I love you, and I want you to win. And I want you to really win, not that crap Donald Trump's talking about. Okay, unbought, unbossed, civil rights. Sign up to operational.org. Take your life back. I'll see you the next time around. I'm out.